What other fuck ass shit has our president done now? We are going to get into the latest from the Nimrod in chief, as well as bring our first candidate for office onto the show. I am Maggie Gelson Burnett.
And I'm Mallory Hagan. This is Pretty Furious. Hi, Maggie.
Hi.
I don't know why I just called you Mag. I've never
Hi,
done that.
girl. Hi, girl.
How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm fine. I hate it
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. As if
But
growing a human's not hard enough, or in my case, keeping one alive. You just have to look at the news every day. In
it is
addition,
rough in these streets. I feel like this last week in particular has been really, really dark in the news. Like
yeah.
I think with the latest drop of the files and everything, it's a lot. So I will say that our lovely guest Sean was a breath of fresh air today. He is just a delight. I loved him so much.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I everyone's going to take something away from this conversation with him, which is just, you know, he's a veteran. He's a farmer. He's running in Georgia. He's running against not
he's
against
great.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, but for her seat. It's just
Yeah.
there's a lot to be gleaned from his attitude in
Yes.
this race. But
Yes.
first, we want to make sure everyone's following us. If you're not following us on Substack, now's the time. Also, Instagram, Facebook, I don't know, Threads, TikTok,
YouTube, Threads,
all of it.
TikTok. We're so
But
tired.
yeah, but we also are hoping, it's been a long time since we've asked folks to leave a review, but it would be really great if you're listening on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. If you could leave us a review this week, that would be really helpful. It's one of the best ways to support us for free.
Yeah. And I would be remiss to not mention this, we do have paid subscriptions now on Substack. So that is something where another very easy way that you can support us. We are on a lower end of the spectrum in terms of monthly cost for our subscriptions. So please consider subscribing to us on Substack in a paid capacity. We would love that.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to do some deep dives coming up. One of them, I think we finally decided, is going to be about the organization that
That
made us
we were both in.
or broke us, unclear. The
Maybe
Miss
mentally ill.
America program,
Pew, pew,
Miss America
pew.
organization. Anyway, if you're interested in that, now's a good time to subscribe because it will be behind a paywall, and I think that's probably best for our
I
mental
think it
health.
will be also probably 7 hours long. So yeah, it'll be probably a two-parter. Um, but Mallory, have you got a headline for me from this clusterfuck of a week that has made you pretty furious?
Well, first, I just want to say, I mean, we're not going to dive into the Epstein files because everyone's doing that, and it's everywhere as it should be, except the national media, the mainstream media. But everybody online's talking about the Epstein files. They are abhorrent. If you want to search through the emails, you can go to, I think it's called Gmail. Someone built
J-Mail.
out the Epstein files in like a Gmail format that you can search in real time. So if you're interested to know what they say and what's in there, by all means, that's a great place to start. I just want to say if you're a survivor and this is hitting you in the face at all times, uh, we understand. Take care of yourself. This is just really difficult, I think, to be consuming all over the place. But yeah, it's kind of why we're just not going there right now. It's saturated and it's disgusting, and our president is a pedophile. Anyway, this headline this week is that the Save Act 2.0 is back on the table. You may remember that the Save Act first round was up for debate this past summer, and it ultimately didn't go anywhere because of public pressure. So let's make that happen again. But essentially, the Save Act is a way to disenfranchise voters, plain and simple. The provisions in there essentially are that in order to register or re-register to vote, you will have to present a form of proof that you're a citizen in this country, and that's by way of birth certificate or a passport. Many states already require that you show your ID to vote, so that's not what this is. This is about registering to vote. And it would mean that you can no longer do that online. So in Alabama, we have an online registration. As long as you have an Alabama driver's license, you can register to vote online. You would not be able to do that anymore. Women who are married, if you've changed your name. I mean, there's just this long list of reasons why this is seeking to remove the rights of many people and disenfranchise people from voting. And so I would just encourage you, if you can, call your senator, let them know that this is not something you're even interested in them debating because it should be a non starter. And that's that. What about you?
Yes,
What's your
that
headline?
part. Yes. My headline is well, this morning, Donald Trump released a video on Truth Social that at the tail end of it has Barack and Michelle Obama as monkeys at the end of it. Um, so we know that our president is racist, and you can't, like, that is an objective fact. You can't actually, like, argue that any longer.
No, no,
Um,
but they will. They'll argue
they
it.
will,
But anyway.
absolutely. Yes, they will. And to do this at all is vile and disgusting. But to do it during Black History Month, like it is, there is no low for, like, it just, he just keeps going lower. This man is the scum of the fucking earth. Like, there, the line
You
in
know
the
what? You
sand.
know why I think he did
What?
it? You know why? I think he did it. I think he
Because
did it because everyone's putting out memes saying that you know who's not in the Epstein files
100% Barack Obama.
with
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
I think he just like can't he cannot stand that the Obamas are better looking, higher educated, they were better at running the country, they're more well liked. They're just like the list
Yep.
is long. He just
Yeah.
cannot stand it. He cannot stand it.
It's so fascinating. I was just reading an article the other day from the New Yorker talking about how the difference between mobilizing voters and organizing voters, and how this is best demonstrated through obviously MAGA and Democrats, but also how organizations that we may not, like, typically think of have demonstrated this. Organizations like DARE, the drug program, the drug prevention program, and MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And I thought it was really fascinating how Barack Obama mobilized and organized voters, and how he had arguably the best mobilization and organization strategy of any president ever. And I think that, like, eats at Donald Trump every single day of his life. That the president before him was just such a like a masterclass in how to be a leader, and Donald Trump is a malignant pile of fucking garbage. Like, it is just, yeah, I have no words
Well,
anymore. Like,
I also think, you know, fear is a strong motivator, as we have discussed and seen with people who still support and follow MAGA, but
mhm,
so is hope. And
mhm,
Barack Obama's hope, you know, motto, the signage of him everywhere that says hope, you know, that's
yeah,
also a really strong motivator. And we all prefer someone to vote for. I mean,
yep,
everyone always says, you know, they're all bad. I'm like, no, everyone prefers that we have a candidate to vote for, not just vote against
against,
someone,
yeah,
against Donald Trump.
exactly,
And I think Barack Obama just embodied that. At the time,
yeah,
he was something to vote for. There was
mhm.
hope. Um, and my, how things have changed. But you know who
I
we have
miss
hope
the
in?
Obamas so much. Like, I just miss them deeply. Like, I just get so
Same.
sad thinking about how much I miss them.
I actually listened to Michelle's Call Her Daddy episode here this past week, and just like, what a concept, you know? The most highly educated first lady.
What a class act too. Like, they both are
Truly.
just classy as fuck, and it's,
She did say we still have to go high, that we can throw tantrums, but we still have to go high. I do have to say, I'm not sure that I agree, unfortunately.
I
Perhaps
don't
she's
know.
just a bigger person than me, and I'm okay to admit that. But
Yeah,
it
same.
was inspiring to listen to her. It was inspiring to listen to her too as a new mom, and I think that was something that was really interesting to me. Is like she just was so open about how difficult their marriage was when they first had kids, and
Yeah.
how hard raising two children in the White House was, and, you know, with all the asterisks and caveats that go along with that. So,
Yeah,
anyway,
100%.
not to be on an Obama
She's like
tangent.
like, "We should go high." I'm like, "There is no insult low
No.
enough for this man." Like, I'm
And also,
trying.
I'm sorry, but we've said it. People who are MAGA are bullies, and the only way to stand up to a bully is to bully them back.
And
That's what
they're
I learned on the
ugly.
playground.
Sorry,
I
go
learned on
ahead.
the playground, if you go hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. That's how this is going.
Fully.
I'm not going to tell the teacher, I'm gonna clock you, and then we can work it out.
Honestly, though, someone who reminds me of Barack Obama, has very, like, Obama energy, I feel like,
Mm.
is our guest
Mhm.
today, is Sean Harris,
Yeah.
who is running for office in Georgia's 14th district, I believe, Marjorie Taylor Greene's old seat. Sean is a combat veteran who retired after 40 years of service as a general. His international postings include Afghanistan, Liberia during the Ebola outbreak, chief of staff to NATO forces in Kosovo, and as the senior defense attaché in Israel. Sean spent a few years as a middle school teacher and principal as well. He is a Georgia native, and he returned home with his wife of 37 years, Carla, who is a family physician, and started their grass fed Red Angus cattle farm. They have 5 sons and 4 grandchildren. So let's welcome Sean to Pretty Furious. Well, welcome, Sean. We are so excited to have you on Pretty Furious. I believe you are actually our first person running for office who is joining us on the show. So we are very excited to have you. We always start out by asking our guests if there is a headline that has made you pretty furious this week. And we know that there's no shortage of headlines out there. So do you have a headline you'd like to share?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say thanks. I'm excited to be on y'all guys' show. The headline is actually a headline that just hit this morning. When I was out this morning checking on the cows, my phone, like everybody else's phone, I get all kind of things on social media, and there you go. Donald Trump actually sends out a video, and at the end of it is showing President Obama and his wife as monkeys. And I just said to myself, what is America? What are we doing? How do we have a president at that level stooping to stuff like this? And even if he didn't do it personally, if he allowed his staff to get something out like that, because of doing 40 years in the military, and that's part of the government, nothing gets out unless somebody approves it. So for it to come out on his Truth Social and now being spread around the internet, and still as of right now, maybe I missed it. I've been moving kind of crazy today. I don't think where he's came and made an apology or anything. So he's owning it, but that's the normal Donald Trump that I know.
Do you think we're gonna get an apology from
Yeah,
Donald
great
Trump?
question.
No,
Yeah,
not at all,
right,
not at all. And I don't even think he would pick up the phone and call the Obamas and say anything. So
right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
it's that's where we at right now as a country. We're divided, and this current administration is doing more and more to try to divide us.
Yeah.
Well,
That we were talking about that video in our intro as one of our headlines as well.
Mhm.
And one of the things I think about whenever Donald Trump does something ridiculous, which
Mhm.
is daily at this point,
Right.
um, is what this says about decency in
Mhm.
in terms of politicians.
Yeah.
And if that is just something that we should no longer expect from politicians, it seems like that used to be such a like regular thing you would expect
Yeah.
from people in office is this very basic level of human decency. What do
Mhm.
you think, where do you think we are in regards to politicians with that? Like,
I,
do you think that that's something we should just not look for anymore in our
no,
elected officials?
I will tell you. I think that politicians, or take the whole politician leaders. Leaders should be pushing back, saying, "Wait a minute, let's do the things that our parents taught us to do. Be respectful to each other. If you can't say anything nice, don't say nothing at all." And some people may say that's naive, but that's what I'm actually trying to bring to Congress. I don't have to agree with anybody, but I do need to be able to work with everybody, because if we can work together, we can find that common ground, and it'll be helpful for that person in their district, it'll be helpful for us here in Northwest Georgia. But I think too many people are now trying to be like somebody else instead of being truly to themselves, or they're trying to become a celebrity versus a congressman. And I say that on the trail all the time, is that Sean Harris does not want to be a celebrity. I don't want to be seen on CNN and Fox News every 5 seconds. I want to be the guy that when you come and look at my record, it says they were up here working, they got bills turned into law, And those bills that turned into law actually helped everybody here in the 14th district, which is Northwest Georgia.
I have to ask, going back to the video that that Trump put out and the way that the Obamas were depicted. First of all, this is nothing new, right?
Mm-mm.
I mean, we're sitting here in Black History Month. We are very aware of the history of this country, even though some folks would very much like to rewrite it,
Mm-hmm.
and currently are trying to rewrite it.
Right.
My question is this that we're in a space that's divided, or is this who we are?
After you do stuff for quite some time, or you allow it to happen, you start saying, "Wait a minute, has the country changed?" And right now we're on a slippery slope. I think many of us got to stand up and pull it back, because the worst thing that America could do is start fighting amongst ourselves to the point that our enemies around the world can then attack us. I mean, I think if you look at our country the day before 9/11, we also had some foolishness like this happening back then. We was constantly going at each other. And then all of a sudden 9/11 happened, and the next thing you know, everybody wanted to put a flag out in front of their house and focus on America. I pray to God that we don't have to have another 9/11 to bring us back together. But I do believe some of these leaders, or so-called leaders, that we actually got in Washington, D.C., or wherever they at, or some of them not even elected, because some of this is advisors to President Trump. Now, he owns it because he actually picked them. But some of these advisors got some agendas, no matter what is actually happening in the world, and they actually try to push that agenda. The other thing that I would say is, normally when President Trump does something to the extreme, I think we should look at it, but also open our eyes and say, okay, what is he trying to make sure that we don't see? And when I saw it this morning, I said to myself, this is BS. That's the way I said it. I said something strong out there on the farm. I said, this is BS. But then on the flip side of the coin, I said, oh boy, what else is actually happening today that makes him want us to be talking about this versus that? And at the end of the day, the economy is not good. Healthcare is out the roof. People can't buy a house. People struggling to even have a job. I think the job numbers came out this morning, or came out yesterday, and they were not good. And when I say they were not good, if you remember 3-4 months ago, he actually fired the person that keeps the data on the numbers, and the damn numbers are still bad. So
Yeah, I think
Right.
that
Yeah.
they're approaching 2009 levels of unemployment or
yes,
job loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yes,
I can answer what else happened today, or what else
okay,
came out. And one of the things that came out was a testimony from the FBI of one of the Epstein file victims that basically was begging for help. It was a protective order that was released today,
mm,
or is becoming more public today. Let's say that. I'm sure it was among the 3 million other things that came
yes,
out
yes,
a week ago. But so much is happening, and we're all like just being pummeled with a fire hose of
yes.
information and terrible news. So let's switch to some good news. Democrats have been doing well. If
Yeah.
nothing else, Donald Trump is a poison on his party. It's very clear from Georgia, actually, where
Okay.
I think it was, what was your public service
Public
commission,
Service
or
Commission.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
yeah,
yeah.
which is a whole different ballgame
Whole
we've
different
been down.
different ball game. But we showed in Georgia, if
Uh-huh.
we all get laser focused, everybody put their hand to the plow, we can actually flip the entire vote. We made history. We made history a couple of years back with the two senators. We just made history with those two. And I am confident. I'm confident that we're going to make history with me. Some people love to say, Sean, you're running against 16, 17 Republicans. Oh, okay. Last
Yeah,
time I checked,
let them duke it out and split the money.
yeah, last
Yeah,
time last
exactly.
time I checked, I'm the cat that ran against Marjorie Taylor Greene. And yes, I didn't beat her, but you get in the data, I got the most votes ever of any Democrat in a ruby red district, 135,000 votes. And out of that 135,000, 5% of the people that voted for Donald Trump actually voted for me. So when you hear me talking
Wow.
about I have Democrats, independents, and Republicans that are on my team, we had it then. We got even more this time. And when I say we got even more this time, some has came out and got my little signs that say Republican for Sean. But a lot are saying, Sean, when I go in the booth, I'm voting for you because I am tired of crazy. I'm tired of being embarrassed. I'm tired of people promising me something every doggone 2 weeks, and we never get to those 2 weeks. So at the end of the day, I'm going to vote for my kids and my grandkids because you are the right person for the job. And they also tell me this, Sean, I'm going to hold you accountable. And I tell them, here's my phone number. Probably right now in this district, maybe I go on a limb and say 2,000 people got my direct phone number because I tell them at my town halls, I work for you, period. There's nobody in DC that I got to answer to. I'm a Democrat, but I am not tied to the party. I got to do what's right for the people here in Northwest Georgia, period.
Yeah. You know, I think a lot of people have feelings and thoughts about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Mm-hmm.
What what do you think tells you that people are ready for a Democrat in your district, in a
Yeah,
district that has been historically predominantly red for many
yeah.
years?
I would tell you they're tired. They and when I say tired, physically tired, but they also tired of all the lies. They're tired of somebody saying it's going to get better and it never actually gets better. They're tired of somebody saying, "Hey, we're going to look out for the rural community," and then it never comes. Farmers are tired of politicians saying, "We're going to get the farm bill passed for you," but when it's time to get on the plane on Thursday night or Friday morning, they get on the plane and come home, but they never actually brought the farm bill up. Um, when people look at me or when veterans say, hey, people tell me all the time, thank you for my service. But then when I fill out my paperwork to try to get my benefits that I've already received, I get a one line back that says denied. So what they see in me is somebody that is a common everyday guy. Yes, I good Lord has blessed me, but I'm humble and I know where I came from. And because I'm a veteran, because I'm a farmer, because I was a school teacher, because I was all of these things, nobody has to brief me up on what hardworking people are doing. So when they see all of that in me, including Republicans, because guess what? I believe that our debt limit is way too high. It used to be a time when if a Republican would say, "What do you mean we trillions and trillions of dollars in debt? We got to get those people out." Right now, Donald Trump is making that thing go higher and higher, and I'm the only candidate that's saying we got to bring down the doggone debt limit because now we have passed our grandkids and we're into their grandkids. So that's what's bringing people to me is because I speak plain, I have a track record of leadership, and I stand on my decisions. And if you don't like it, either way, I will explain it to you and tell you why we did it and how it's going to make it better for us here in Northwest Georgia.
Being a farmer, I think, is such an interesting element here in this election cycle solely because we have seen time and time again stories across the country of
Mhm.
farmers saying, I voted for Trump. I didn't vote for this. I voted for Trump. I didn't vote for this.
Yeah.
Do you think you have the ability to reach some of those people? And what does that conversation look like that you're having now with folks in your district?
Yeah, it's no doubt we're reaching them because you know, when I finish your show, I'm going outside. There's farmers outside waiting on me right now. And when I say farmers outside, like we already said, I live in a ruby red district. So guess what? Majority of those farmers outside are Republicans that's waiting on me. And when we have our conversations, the conversations is not about a blue shirt or a red shirt and all this kind of thing. The conversation is like, hey man, I do not want to be the one that loses our farm. We didn't had the farm for 5 and 6 and 7 generations.
Generations,
I
yeah.
I I do not want to be the one that loses the farm. So what can you do, Sean, to help me do that? Because right now this administration keeps promising, and then 2 days later we get in another fight with China, and it blows everything up. Or the president dips into the cattle business and makes our prices go up and down. And in our part of Georgia, we have cattle here and we have poultry, chickens.
Yeah.
That's the type farmers we are. So at the end of the day, we are the farmers. I'll say we are being affected every day by the whim of somebody in the White House, and that ride is coming to an end because when you go downtown to the bank, if your ledger doesn't make the math, the bank says you're a pretty nice person, but we're not lending you any more money to farm next year. You're going bankrupt. Your place is going up for sale. And guess what? Other farmers don't have enough cash to buy your farm. So it turns into a neighborhood. And now we're losing farmland. So that is why farmers are coming around me. Now, will all of them come to me? No. But at the end of the day, they have voted for Trump 4 and 5 times now, and it's becoming realistic that somebody's lying. Somebody is lying.
Why do you think it
And
takes people so long to learn this lesson?
well,
I don't understand. We talk about all the time. We're a decade into this. Like what?
I will tell you,
what was not computing?
People love to believe, and after you start believing, you start hearing certain things, and you say, okay, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. My counterparts that I'm running against right now, even after Marjorie Taylor Greene has said all these things about mega and everything, that is still their platform. They are running to that and running to, I want to go to DC to support Donald Trump. Clearly saying they don't care about the people here in the district. And while they doing that, I'm saying to the people in the district, perhaps I got a little mark beside me because I'm a Democrat, but at least I told you I was a Democrat. Because it's some people in this district that used to be Democrats, but because they don't have a spine, they moved over and started calling themselves a Republican. If you do that, guess what? You're not being true to yourself. You're not being true to anybody else. And how are you going to get to DC and try to hold somebody accountable when they can pull the dance card and say, hey, man, you used to be at the party with me. And guess who I'm talking about? The prime example of that, and I say it all the time when I talk to my Republican brothers, the reason why I can't just cross over is because still today, Donald Trump got more time being a damn Democrat than he does as a Republican. And that's why when the mayor of New York came in his office, he got confused because he started thinking like a Democrat again, and they had to clean it up. So
this is a great guy. He's a great guy.
Where your heart's at, where you believe, because if not, you'll lose your way. And right now, Donald Trump has made it very clear that sometimes he struggles to figure out where's his heart. And he'll be a different person next week. We'll be fine.
Yeah, definitely.
That's also otherwise known, though, Sean, as a malignant narcissist.
Yes, also multiple personality disorder.
Multiple personalities, lack of morals.
Yeah,
we could go on.
Sean, you mentioned you're a farmer, but you also, very importantly, you are a veteran. You spent 40 years in the military. We are now seeing the rampant militarization of U.S. cities via ICE and deaths that are happening at the hands of DHS. I'm curious how this makes you feel as somebody who devoted so much of your life and your energy devoted to, serving our country and protecting our nation's people, how this, what is happening within the DHS and ICE, has an impact on you and other veterans.
Yeah. The reality of it hurts because before taking the uniform off, I'm not sure if y'all guys know this, many of the different agencies, we all work together on different things, but we all have our own rules. So, but I'll speak to ICE from this point of view. Many of my soldiers, when we retired or when we went through the retirement, many of us went to work inside of ICE. So it's a bunch of veterans that are working inside of ICE that were in the old ICE, because the ICE that we have today is the new leadership and they're the ones that's giving the guidance. So I don't want to say everybody in ICE is bad because some people have been working there for 30 and 40 years. What I will say is this, is we have to push back on this current administration because they have made a military that's right here in the United States that has proven in the last month or so that they are willing or untrained so much that they will actually kill Americans. And I will tell you, even in the military, when you overseas in the middle of a war, we have to follow the rules of law, rules of the warfare. And at the end of the day, if you actually kill somebody in a combat situation and you didn't follow the rules, we will take you to jail and lock you up in a place called Leavenworth, Kansas for the rest of your life. But here in the United States, leadership, when I say leadership, I'm not talking about myself, but I used to be part of leadership. Leadership, before we can even do an investigation, says that the ICE agent did it right. If somebody's dead and they're American, hell, something had to go wrong, period. Let the investigation play out, go from there. I will go on and just tell you what, right. The person that's in charge of Homeland Security, she should be fired today. Period. 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 However, President Trump, he picked his own team. This time, he actually picked many people that are not qualified to do the job. And because they're not qualified to do the job, they can't speak power to what they're supposed to be doing. If you got a bunch of dumb people on your staff, they just do what you tell them to do. That is not the way the United States was built. We don't supposed to be on a dictatorship. We're supposed to be a democracy, and those people that are in charge of those agencies supposed to be some of the best of the best of the best. And when they're not being the best of the best, they teach others at our major universities of how to do the job for the next generation. What I will promise you, when these people that are in the White House right now are in these positions, when they walk out, I guarantee you won't find them at Harvard or any of the universities teaching anybody. I don't think
Yeah.
they'll be able to sell a book.
Yeah,
That
that's
that
true.
that makes me, curious how you feel about just military leadership as a whole, right?
Mhm.
My husband's a West Point grad and is active
Okay.
duty. We're a military family, and it is alarming
Yes.
often to open your news source and see that another, four-star general has been let go or fired, or another woman has been removed from her
Yes.
position,
Yes.
um, seemingly getting rid of anyone who might voice some opposition to
Yes.
the leadership of Donald Trump in this administration.
Mhm.
Does that worry you for the future of our military, or do you
That
do you believe that the system is strong enough to withstand?
I first of all, I think the system's strong enough to withstand. However, the system is definitely being it's some serious pressure on it. Um, and it's going to be some amazing people that I know personally are going to be kicked out of the military for nothing they did was wrong, and many of them are women. Are and what worries me is, again, like I said earlier, our Secretary of Defense or Secretary of War, Pete, whatever you want to title you want to give him, is completely out of control. And your husband was in West Point, so your husband know the game. Pete was at best a major or a lieutenant colonel. I'm not poo-pooing on lieutenant colonels and majors, but at the end of the day, he is not qualified to run the Pentagon. Period. It's way over his head because he's talking about somebody getting out and doing PT. Hell, senior leaders know how to do PT. Okay? So another thing I
with
would say
with his
on
inability to actually complete the
Yeah,
things
he's
that
really
he's
exactly.
discussing.
You need to learn how to do a pull-up. But I'll just say this. One, I believe in our military. I believe in our systems. We will be okay, but it is gonna be painful. And I think what you're gonna see happen as more leaders at all levels, military leaders at all levels, get pushed out of the military for whatever reason, I think you're going to start seeing them where they would have just went home, spent time with the family, maybe wrote a book, maybe did a little job here and there, went out on the talking circuit, talking about leadership matters, all that kind of stuff, I think you're going to turn around and say, wait a minute, there's a whole bunch of veterans running for Congress. There's a whole bunch of veterans now running for state stuff, and there's a whole bunch of veterans running to be a governor. I think what he has done has ignited that leader to say, wait a minute, I'm not just going to go into retirement and play with the grandkids. Yeah, we're going to do that. But we still going to take our skill set and actually still fight for this country, but fight for it in a different way. The last piece I touch on it is when it comes to Senator Kelly, that is just craziness. And I'm glad Senator Kelly is fighting back. He has my full support. He's going to win this case. He's going to embarrass Pete. And I hope the president fires him also. But I will say this, if this happens, guess what? Sean Harris, me, will be called up just like him. They'll put me back in uniform and take my retirement and say, okay, you're not a general anymore. We're going to make you a colonel or a lieutenant colonel or whatever. If it happens to him, then it will happen to all our NCOs. It'll happen to everybody.
Anyone.
And that's why the
anyone.
veterans need to get out and actually vote, and vote. Because guess what? Who cares if you're a Democrat, independent, or Republican, whatever? This right here is cutting home at our core of all of us as veterans that are actually out here.
I actually think that's such a great lesson for MAGA as a whole.
Yeah.
Right. We're looking at what's
right.
happening with ICE. We're looking at what's happening with SNAP benefits, with
Mhm.
the removal of subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. We're looking at what's happening with veterans. And to me, the major issue and the difference between our two party ideologies is that for some reason, folks who are still entrenched in this conservative movement, this era of it,
Mhm.
can't seem to put theirself in the position to see that this could happen to you. You could be
Right.
Renee Nicole Good. You
Yeah.
could be going home from your kid's basketball game and ICE tear gases your van. Like
Mhm.
these things could be you. And it's really unfortunate that it takes touching home for some folks to change their mind. But I hope what
Yeah.
you said, especially to veterans, really sticks with them. Like this,
Mhm.
if they're coming from Mark Kelly and he's a public figure, he's somebody who has the power to bring this to the national spotlight. Imagine what they'll do to somebody who doesn't have that at all.
You
Right.
know, I said last night, I did a town hall last night. In a few days, I'll be able to hit all 10 counties, and everybody's invited to them. But I said it at that because there was several veterans there last night, and I said to them, "Think about this, guys. Senator Kelly was just going to retire as Colonel Kelly. That's what he's going to do. He's going to go home, relax, and support his wife that was the politician." And I said, guys, the only reason we got Senator Kelly today is because his wife got shot. That's the only reason that he is now a politician. And I said, a guy that went through all of this, great American hero, then your wife gets shot, now you go to Congress, you do all these kind of things. And now you're talking about you want to bring him in, demote him, disgrace his career. BS, BS. I don't know your rating on your show, so I'm just going to say BS, BS, BS.
You could
But
say
at the end of the day,
Whatever you
bullshit.
want.
I say to the veterans, regardless if you like him or not, Kelly went to space several times as the commander. Now, we talk about what we did in Afghanistan and Iraq and all this kind of stuff. Hell, he went to space, man. That's a whole different program. Whatnot.
Yeah.
He's a real astronaut. So if they can take him down, Sergeant so-and-so, so-and-so, Lieutenant Colonel so-and-so, so-and-so, Major so-and-so, so-and-so, who do you think you are? Because you don't have enough money to even go out and get a lawyer and bring the case. That's why you got to get in behind this thing, because if this domino fall, it's going to affect every last one of us, and it won't be a situation of did it just happen on our watch? Because
Yeah.
you know when you're in the military, it's a family business. It's a family business. You just in a long line of men and women who have defended this country, and 9 times out of 10, everybody that's used to be in the military got a kid, grandkid, somebody that's currently in the military. So you got it on two fronts. A front that says, are you going to put my kid in a crazy ass war? Or are you going to come at us as veterans now and cut everybody that works at the VA so you can privatize us and we can't get any damn health care? So, but guess what? That's why I'm running for Congress, is because when I get to Congress, I can call timeout. Timeout. We're going to discuss this. We're going to get to yes, because guess what? One of the things I want to make sure people know, when I get to Congress, one of the things that I'm going to get on board with, I think they're already trying to work it. I don't know if they have the numbers, but we're going to get it done. From now on, if we decide to shut down the government, shut it down. Shut it down. But guess what? Everybody out in the real world still get paid. They still go to damn work. It'll only be the politicians. All of us, we will be the ones stop getting our paycheck. And I guarantee you, you'll stop having so many government shutdowns,
I was going to
because
say, that's how it should
all
be.
of our
Yeah.
spouses will say, hey, how you think we're going to pay our bills? Because one thing about politicians that make us all equal, everybody got somewhere to stay in Washington, D.C., and then they got another house back in their state. And guess what? Usually you struggle to try to pay for both, because Washington, D.C. is not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, would
I'm
you support
curious.
term limits?
Yes. Matter of fact, you know the reason why I support term limits? My wife already told me, Carla told me point blank, you already did all those years in the military. You don't get to leave here anymore. Bottom line, I'm going to D.C. I'm going to do, good Lord bless me, I'm going to do 3 terms. That means 6 years. That's what the term limit is. I'm getting out the game, because guess what? I think, and there's some people may want to punch me on this, I don't care, but I think at some point you got to let the next generation come and get in the game.
Yeah.
If
That
you
part.
stay in the game, it's like becoming a general. If I kept on staying, then highly qualified people behind me can never actually get it, because it's only so many in the game. Right now in Washington, D.C., and some people probably going to punch me in the nose the first day I walk in the room, but right now, we need some great people. They've been doing an awesome job, but we need them to go home, spend time with the grandkids, and let the next generation come. Because if we don't ever get that next generation the opportunity to get in the game, when they finally go, they're going to be so naive to it that they're not going to know how to play the game. And that's my biggest fear. And the last thing I'll say is this: from a Democratic point of view, as a party, we should be fighting for every district in the country. Just because somebody's in a ruby red district or this district or that district, you shouldn't write that off, because guess what? It is regular, everyday people out there. And if you actually just put some time and effort in behind it, like we do in the military, we are never sent into any country where it's in our advantage for the most part. It's supposed to be tough. So as a Democratic Party, we want to fight. Let's fight across the entire nation and fight in some of these districts that somebody may say is going to be tough. But if you put some effort behind it, we win it. And that's why I'm confident that I'm going to win my doggone race here, and I'm going to represent everybody in this district across the board. And the cool thing is, when I get to DC, nobody can't tell me what I can do and what I can't do, because we did it. The key word is we.
Yeah.
Thanks, ladies.
I love that. That's great, Sean. And thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for the work that you are doing in a district that really needs it, in a country that really needs it.
Thank you.
So we thank you so much, and best of luck to you in your race.
Thank you very much. And I'll look forward to coming to your show anytime. What I would just say to your audience, hey, go to my campaign page. You can see, I got the shirt on today. You see it right on my shirt, but I'm not asking for money. My team would say, Joe, you should ask for money. No, what I need, first of all, is your prayers, because this is not going to be easy. But on the second part, I need you to go to my campaign page, go to the bottom, and it says volunteer. I got roughly about 700 volunteers on the ground. I need thousands and thousands and thousands of more that can help us make phone calls, send postcards, the whole 9 yards. And I don't care where you're at in the country. In order for us to win, I need all hands on the plow to actually make it happen. And that's what we did when we was running around in Afghanistan, was all the prayers from all the American people. And that's how we got back home. And that's how we're going to win this race here in Northwest Georgia. So again, thanks, ladies. Y'all guys have a great day.
Thank you. Get out
Thanks,
to those
Sean.
farmers.
Oh, yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Sean.